My side is connected as well,
It is?
but I have the weird side by side though.
Let me check.
So I
Let
think
me
I'm
check.
still gonna have that problem.
But wait, there's more.
Ah,
Let's see on Facebook. Yeah, we're on Facebook.
yeah.
So you could share it from there.
Yeah, my issue is the format, but I'll still go live.
Okay. Okay. And on YouTube, it's streaming. Um, you're gonna share it or no?
Oh no, it's sharing already, but it's just the format. It just looks quite off. Hmm.
Okay.
All right, ready to go?
Yeah, let me share this.
Okay, one more.
Um, all right. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
All right. So good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this very lovely Sunday afternoon. My name is Ariane Blanchard, and this evening, uh, the General Insurance Company Limited in Antigua has partnered with Waveney Henry of the People's Brand in St. Kitts to present to you Perfecting Your Personal Brand. General Insurance Company, located on Upper Reckless Street, Antigua. The specifics are, if you're driving on Independence Drive and you turn on Reckless Street, it is the second building on the right-hand side. It's a two-story white building and the office is upstairs. The company offers insurance products such as motor, property, contents, which is also known as renters insurance. We also do some marine, public liability, and workmen's compensation. The company was founded in 1984 on October 1st, and this webinar is a part of the celebrations for the 40th anniversary. For each, I'm going to take the music off. For each anniversary, the company makes an effort to give back to the community in which we serve. The pillars that we focus on are art, music, culture, sports, and most recently, we are focusing on the youth. So how did this webinar come about? Just through the regular recruiting of employees, it has been identified that there are a lot of people coming into the job market that have not been given formal training on how to present themselves. And this is how we ended up partnering with Waveney. Waveney is somebody that I have worked with personally. She has been my leadership coach. So she hails from St. Kitts. She's a professional in human resources, international. And her career path, which includes her being a human resources professional, she not only provides that service to international hotel brand, but she also helps in the training as well. Waveney specifically provides leadership coaching, and her coaching stems from focusing on new managers through mindset, communication, and there's one other thing, which
Work
is
relationships.
relationship. Yeah.
Very
So Yes. So today, through my networking with Waveney and knowing what her capabilities are, we have selected her as the best person to give this presentation. So with that said, I'll hand over the floor to Waveney and welcome once again to Perfecting Your Personal Brand.
Thank you, Ariane. Thank you so much. It is my absolute pleasure to partner with you and your company, your sister Cara Ann, and the entire team at the entire management team at the General Insurance Antigua company. And thank you for giving me this platform and this opportunity to share about perfecting your one's personal and professional branding. And like you said, like Ariane said, and thank you everyone for joining us. I think this time around, this is the second time we're doing it. And so this time we are able to stream to Facebook and YouTube. So if you please share that out, okay? My Facebook and YouTube pages. So as someone who has been in HR for 18 years, I can tell you that a huge green flag and an indicator of a great company is a company that invests in their people, but not just invest in their people, but invests in the community that their people live and work. And this is what General Insurance of Antigua is doing. They're investing back in the community. All right. And so this is a huge green flag. So this is a free 99 for those of you who may be looking for jobs, whether you are a school leaver or not. I promise you that you can get something, you can get a golden nugget from what I'm about to share. And this is something that you should look for when you are looking for employment. Look at the company and what they're doing, not just for the people in the organization, but for the surrounding community. So with that said, let me just switch over to the presentation. I'll share my screen. And Ariane, just the first slide, you're going to have to help me. Just the first slide is showing.
You're showing the editing view. So you want to do the slideshow or?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me do that. Is that better? Yeah, I think so. All right, so just a little bit about me. My name is Waveney, like Ariane said. I'm a leadership mindset coach. I mentioned to you I'm in HR. I'm an HR professional. I've been in HR for 18 years. I think it's important to share with you how we got to this point, how the People's Brand, which is a company that which is my company, that's the company that I operate under. So I entered the world of hospitality in 2002. And I entered as an HR admin assistant. And I know HR gets a bad rap, but for me, working for an international company, the Marriott at the time, I saw where HR was that place that helped people. And that is what that's where that passion for helping others grew. Fast forward to 2016. In 2016, I had changed companies and Hyatt was coming to St. Kitts, and I joined during pre-opening, and we were doing a lot of recruiting. And I realized during recruiting that there were people who they came I saw the potential. I think that's a knack I have. I could see the potential even amongst the maybe roughness, like the diamond in the rough. And I would find myself having to coach people, like saying, okay, you're gonna go to see this person, smile, shake their hand, do this, do that. And so from that, my passion for helping others, my knowledge, all the knowledge that I had gained, I started the People's Brand in 2018. And my entry into the marketplace was really interview prep, right? Interview prep. And from since 2018 until now, the People's Brand have evolved. And so I'm a leadership mindset coach. I've done some coaching certifications, hypnosis practitioner, and a few others. You see them on the screen, and this is who I am. This is the People's Brand has evolved. This is a quick story of me, um, my evolution. So these are just some ways that we can work together. We can work together on social media, on my Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on all the platforms. So you can join me there. You can subscribe to my newsletter, where I share monthly nuggets. I have digital courses. I do speaking engagements like this one, coaching sessions, communicate to influence coaching, and workshops that I host. So there is many ways that we can work together. So let's keep in touch. If you find something that resonates with you, if you are really loving what I'm putting out, let's connect beyond this program. Now, for the agenda for today, just some guidelines. I think everybody, but I'll say it. If you're joining us on Zoom, when you come into the Zoom, please put your stuff on mute. You should be on mute already, but you never know. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat. Either Ariane and I will see those questions. And so those are just a few things. And one thing I like to share with people is that you don't have to remember everything. You don't have to remember everything. All right. Our brains are not designed to have all this information all at the same time. So if you're not at home or not in a place that you can take notes, then even if it's one thing that resonates with you, my job would have, I've done my job. And so that's something I want for you to remember, because many times we go into trainings or we're listening to something, and we think we have to remember all the things, but just remembering that one thing and committing to work on it, that really helps. And then we're going to take out the trash. This is just a quick exercise I like to do. And then we're going to talk about the 3 Ps: positioning, perception, and preparation. We're going to look in the chat, do a quick Q&A. We have a free gift to the end. I have a free gift for you, and then we'll wrap up. Just a reminder, if you are online, please share this out with a friend who you think will benefit. And so let's just take a few moments to take out the trash, what I call take out the trash. And what I'd like for you to do is, if you are in a comfortable setting, if you're at home or in your bed, and you have a piece of paper or a pencil, or if you don't have a paper or pencil, I'd like to invite you. If you're driving, don't do this. Don't do this. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes, because this time is for you. You've invested the time and resources to be here. And so I want you to clear the space for you to listen to me and for you to get something out of this. And so I'd like to invite you to close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, I want you to think about anything that has been frustrating you. Maybe you had planned to be on this Zoom and you realized that, hey, you were rushing to connect, or maybe you woke up this morning, someone upset you, maybe something negative has happened. Let's clear that out. So if you have a pen and paper, I want you to write whatever that thing is down. And when you've done that, I want you to throw it away. That's taking out the trash. Now, if you don't have a pen and paper, I'd like for you to close your eyes and visualize what that frustration is. Maybe you can visualize the frustration itself, or maybe it's a shape. Maybe it's coming up as a shape or an object or whatever that frustration is coming up as. I want you to visualize that, and I want you to see yourself throwing that away. And when you've done that, I'd like for you to open your eyes. So let's clear it out. Let's take out the trash for a moment. All righty. And let's move into what we're here for. So this training is for school leavers, but as I mentioned, it could really benefit anyone. And if you're not a school leaver, I want to say we are always in the right place at the right time. But you are here at a transition period. School leaving is a transitional period. I liken it to you're on the cusp because you're leaving school. It's like you are leaving childhood and you're entering into adulthood, right? You are moving from a state of dependence. You're depending on your parents or your caregiver or whomever, and you are moving more toward a state of independence, right? And I am so happy that I have this opportunity to share with you today, because one of the things that I want to share with you is you have to cultivate habits that keep you in a state of readiness. As you can see, I have an athlete on the screen, right? Athletes don't just get up one day and they don't just win, right? Usain Bolt didn't get up one day and he just won. You have to stay in a state of readiness. And even though you're leaving school, even though you're on that cusp, you now have to transition and look at how you can stay in a state of readiness. You know, how can you cultivate your talents? How can you maximize those skills? Because when you cultivate good habits, when you stay in the state of readiness, you are always in line for that next opportunity. You cannot wait until you are in the job, or you cannot wait until you get the thing to become that thing, right? Or that person. You have to be in a constant state of preparedness. And it's not to say that you are in a state of anxiety. It's preparing you for when that time comes. There will be no doubt in anybody's mind that you are that person. And so today we're going to speak about how you can perfect, if you will, your professional brand, so that when you walk into that business place, you're it. You're it. All right?
Waverly, I'm not seeing your presentation anymore.
You're not?
No.
Do you want me to stop and start?
You might try sharing it again, maybe.
You check online to see if
I have it. Let's see.
Let me stop.
Let me check, yeah. Actually, it is showing on it's showing on Facebook.
Okay, let me do this. Let me close some of the settings that I have. I have a lot of windows open. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think maybe I have all these windows open. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So the first, we're going to speak about the first P. Today, I'm going to share 3 Ps that will help to get you to that place, to help you to perfect your professional brand. And the first P is positioning. And I love this quote because it says, if you don't know where you're going, any road can take you there, but you're going to get there regardless. I want you to think about maybe one time or the last time that you went to a fete. So I know that Carnival was in August, right? Carnival was in August. There were fetes, or maybe the last time that you went to the beach. When you were thinking about going to that fete, when you were thinking about going to the beach or whatever event, you were in a state of positioning. You, especially if it's a fete or especially if it's a popular beach or a popular event, you wanted to position yourself. You wanted to set yourself up so that you got the best out of that experience. It's the same thing. You have to position yourself. And if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes so I don't forget anything. So when we speak about positioning, there are 3 things that I want to share with you. And these 3 things are so important. But I'll leave you with this before I go on to the next slide. You do what you do because of what you think about yourself. And it first starts with you. It first starts with you. And what I'm sharing with you today is what every successful person knows. It starts with you. Success does not start outside of you, it starts with you. And so there are 3 things when we think about positioning. It's about who is your identity, how is your mindset, and what are your goals. Let's talk about identity. So right now, you have the identity of a school leaver. You're on that cusp. You've left school. You are a school leaver. But the question is, that's your identity. But the bigger question is, what type of a school leaver will you be? Or what type of school leaver do you wish to be? So who do you wish to be? And we have to start with identity because it is the core of who we are. Our identity will drive what we think, what we believe, our purpose, our values, our habits, and our thoughts, our actions. And from that, we are either successful or we are not successful, right? And here are just some questions that you need to ask yourself. What does the successful school leaver do? If I am someone, I'm finished with school, what does success look like for me while I am on this cusp of looking at a job? What do I need to do? Who do I need to be? And I'm not just talking, this goes beyond how many subjects that you pass. Passing subjects is great, but I can tell you, as someone who is in their 40s, that where you start isn't where you'll end up. And so if you're listening to me and you are maybe depressed, or you feel badly because you didn't pass the required amount of subjects, or you didn't do well here or there, just know that your life isn't over. Just know, as the sun comes up tomorrow and you are able to see it, you get a do-over. Ask yourself the question, who do you wish to be? What does a successful school leaver do? How do they spend their time? Are you spending your time on TikTok, right? Looking at Miss Netta get dragged by the Jamaican community, right? Are you spending time searching for jobs? What are you doing? How does a successful school leaver position themselves? Are you home all day, right? Do you wake up late because there's no school? Do you wake up late? Your parents or caregiver have to come in and say, hey, aren't you going to look like, how are you positioning yourself? Who do you wish to be? If you wish to be successful, your habits are going to be different. And a quick way to get those habits or know what success looks like is for you to look for people who they're in the position where you want to be. What are they doing? What are they reading? How do they spend their time? Our time is so important. If you're here listening to me right now, whether you signed up for the webinar or you were just skating past Facebook and you've stopped, the fact that you're listening, it means that you value your personal development. And that is one key or one identity trait of a successful school leaver. They know that learning never stops. They invest in their personal development. So kudos to you. The next aspect of positioning is mindset. What is your overall attitude and belief? Do you believe that only people who grew up in Hodges Bay, or only people who came from this particular place, they're going to get all the good jobs? Or they have somebody to speak on their behalf, and so they're going to get through in life? What do you believe? Our mindset is so important. And if you were listening to Ariane's introduction, the reason I start with mindset is because you will not be successful if you don't change your mindset. You will not have success until you change your mindset. Your attitude, my mom used to say this to me all the time. Your attitude prevents altitude. Okay. It's the same thing where, I don't know how many of your parents used to say manners will take you around the world. It's the same thing. Your attitude, your mindset, your willingness to learn, your willingness to grow. What is your mindset? Are you, because you just left school, maybe you've already started looking for jobs? Are you deterred by no's? Are you deterred by maybe you haven't gotten a response, or maybe the company that you applied to sent back a response and said, no, we're not hiring? Are you deterred by that? Or are you pushing through? Or are you seeing that as, okay, it's not right now, but let me live to fight another day? What is your mindset? The last thing on positioning, to position yourself, is about goals. You know this. You are always saying yes to something. You are always moving towards something. And I hope that it's your goals. As humans, we are wired to have desires. We are wired to have a sense of achievement. This is why when people say they are bored, it's because they don't have, there's nothing to look forward to. Well, you have to create that. You have to create that. You know, it shouldn't just be about, okay, I want a job and I want to make money. That's important right now. It's important. But what about 5 years from now? What about 2 years from now? What about 10 years from now? What about, maybe you can't think in terms of years. Maybe you have a dream. Maybe you are passionate about something, right? Go towards that. Move towards whatever you are passionate about, right? Find a job that can bring you closer to what you're passionate about. Have a goal. Napoleon Hill calls it a definite chief aim. If you don't have something to look forward to, then you're not positioning yourself for success. Write it out. Write it out. Don't type it out in your phone. Write it out. When you actually write it out, that signals to your brain that you are serious. Okay. And so have a purpose, make it specific. I could have come on here and talk about goal setting, like, oh, set a goal and be specific and measurable and realistic and achievable and timely. I could have told you that, but it's more than that. Just be specific, have something, have a purpose, have a reason. That desire that you have, hold on to that. Write down some actions and move towards it. Okay. And this is how you position yourself. You position yourself through your identity. You position yourself through your mindset. You position yourself by having a goal, by having a purpose. Your purpose will be your anchor. It will be that thing that keeps you going when everything around you just doesn't seem to be going well. So have that goal and make it specific. Read it almost every day and work towards it. People who are successful, and when I say success, I don't mean people who have a gajillion dollars or driving the latest car. Though, if that's your definition, that's fine. But people who you see have great jobs, or maybe they have a great home, or maybe maybe they're in a career that you like. People like Ariane, who is now first female captain. Like, there were specific things that she did, and I can bet she did all three, right? I can bet all those people that you look up to, they check all those boxes. And I wanted to spend time on this because this is super important. You have no idea how important your mindset is, your identity is. You can't identify as a victim and want to have success. It's not gonna work, right? It's not gonna work. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about the next P, and it's perception. So it takes 7 seconds that quickly. Our brains are a supercomputer. You've heard this, I'm sure. It takes 7 seconds for people to read you up and down. 7 seconds. And so the next part of your packaging now is the external. The next part of your professional branding is the visual, the packaging, what people see. And your identity will drive the perception. Because if you don't think good about yourself, if you don't identify with success, if you don't identify with a successful school leaver, what the packaging, the visual will support that. And so when we talk about perception, because perception is reality, your body language, right? 55% of our body language is nonverbal. 38% is vocal, the tone. and 7% is the words that we speak. I always ask people to bring home this point. Have you ever gone into a store? You've gone into a store and you're looking around, maybe nobody's wearing uniform, but you're looking around and you walk up to somebody and you're like, hi, I need some help, blah, blah, blah. And the person goes, I don't work here. Why did you walk up to that person? What was it about that person that attracted you? It was their energy. It was their body language. It was that 55% that your brain read, that 7 second of quick reading that your brain read that says, hey, here's someone who can help you. Same thing, same thing. What is your body language saying? What is your body language saying about you? What is it portraying? What's going on when you're in public, right? What is going on? And I will tell you that you have to, like I said, you're at a great period. You're at a great transition period where you can cultivate great habits, because you can't always turn it off. If you have a bad habit of slouching, of being grumpy, of not smiling, like in the Caribbean, I don't know about Antigua, but in the Caribbean, we have this thing that we think it's cool not to smile. Or I don't know if it's from childhood. When I was growing up, if you were smiling, people would say you're always grinning, you're always skinning your teeth. And so it became like a sort of a negative, bad thing. Like subconsciously, we don't smile, but we have to smile, because a smile tells someone that, hey, I'm approachable. Doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you're approachable, right? And I can tell you, being in hospitality, a smile goes a long way. So what's the next thing? In perception, your appearance. How is your hair? How are you dressing? That sort of thing. When you go for interviews, how are you being intentional about how you're dressing, right? No, we live in an age where people will say, I can do what I want. You want to fight me down, you want to tell me what to do. The truth is, people will always judge you by your appearance. Our five senses, they're going to gravitate to things that look appealing. People will always judge you by what they see. And so if you want to be a success, you have to look like one. I am not saying to have a suit and tie or wear stockings all day, every day when you're going into the supermarket, but be intentional about your dress and where you dress. The shorty shorts have its place. I like shorty shorts. I do, right? But they have their time and their place. And so you need to understand that. Your words, your speech, how are you speaking, right? Are you, some of us grew up where, we're in the Caribbean, we speak English, but we have our dialect, right? Are you able to turn it off and turn it on? If you're not able to turn it on or turn it off when it needs to, then you need to do some work there. But your words, your speech, okay? Are you speaking clearly? Do people understand you, in certain settings? So you have to know. I am not saying to, forget where you come from. It has nothing to do with that, but it's perception. Perception is reality, whether you want to believe it or not. The next thing is your email. You're going out into the world of work. Get a professional email. And a professional email would look like your first name, your last name at gmail.com or yahoo.com, not sexy wave at hotmail.com. That actually used to be, like, when email addresses just came up, that used to be my email address. I've never used it when I'm applying for job. I've never used it, right? So get a professional email address. Get a professional email address, first name, last name, at whatever handle.com. Okay, because what that says for me being someone in HR and who recruits, I look at it and when I see these types of email addresses, I'm like, but why did you is this person, do they not have someone to speak to them, right? So if you don't have someone in your life, I'm your big auntie today, on this live stream supporting you, change your email address. Your social media, this is a big thing. I cannot tell you what to do with your social media and what to type, but what I will say is make it private. You're gonna grow up, you're gonna get older, you're gonna get more mature. Don't type anything that you would be embarrassed if people find out. We live in an age where it's so easy to look at us. Technology is awesome. I am in St. Kitts. I am live streaming on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. We're in the Zoom webinar, and I'm reaching so many people. Technology is great. I love it. Be careful what you put on social media. Don't put anything out there because that you would be embarrassed about, because you just never, you want more. The fact that you're listening to this, you want more for yourself. So you have to think beyond now, right? Think about what I just said about identity. If you identify with success, if you identify with that successful school leaver, you're going to be mindful about your body language. You're going to be mindful about your appearance. You're going to think about how you say things, right? You're going to think about that email. As a matter of fact, I talked about goal setting just a moment ago. And one of the goals, if you don't have any, one of the goals that you can take on for yourself is to work on something that I've said in this training for the next 30 days. That could be a goal. Maybe it's your email, maybe it's cleaning up your social media. But perception is reality. Many times people don't know you, right? We live on small islands, and sometimes we think everybody knows everybody, and sometimes it happens in some cases. But many times when you're looking at a job, the person, they don't know you. And many employers, they go online and they just type in that person's name. They go on Facebook, and what comes up, right? Your social media could hinder you from the job that you want. You could debate this all you want, right or wrong, whatever. It's the way of the world. And you get to create, I had a boss that used to say, you get to shape that narrative, right? You get to shape people's perception. And it's not about being fake. It's about how you want to be seen, right? It's how you want to be seen. You are your own PRO. Right now, you are your own PRO. Okay. And so remember, perception. I just remembered something. I had a conversation with some students at our local hospitality college, and I was speaking about interviewing, and I said to them, listen, you're not rich enough. You're not rich enough to do what you want. And they laughed. But it's true. You're not rich enough. You're not rich enough. People who are very wealthy and they have generational wealth, because the point I was trying to tell them is that we're here, you want to you want to put your best foot forward to get a job, and this is what you have to do, and so forth. And I said to them, listen, this is what we have to do, because I was talking about appearance and showing up with the interview, and I was talking about the piercings, and I said, listen, you're not rich enough. If you were that wealthy, then you would go and work in your parents' organization or whomever, but you're not rich enough, so you have to abide by it. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's just a joke, but it's true. The last P I want to talk about is preparation. You have got to stay ready. So I talked about positioning, which is really internal, your mindset, how you're going to work on yourself mentally. I spoke about perception, and now how do you prepare? And luck, okay. Luck is just something, but it is preparation. Preparation is luck is preparation plus opportunity. I think I wrote it incorrect here. Luck is preparation plus opportunity. That is when people say that you are lucky. What do we have to do to prepare? What does a successful school leaver have to do? You know, many times, and I'll start with this, many times when I am in forums where I'm speaking to persons who are leaving school. I did this year at a local high school. And as I engaged with the students, I said, hey, what do you want to do? Somebody wanted to be a doctor. Somebody wanted to be a hairdresser. You know, there were so many dreams which were fabulous. And then I followed it up with the next question. I said, what are you doing about it? What are you doing to help yourself get there? Many times we have these dreams and we feel like, you know, we're trapped or we can't do anything or nothing is going on for us. But again, we live in a world of the internet, which is so powerful. Like you could find every and anything on the internet. I'll give you a joke. Just before we went live, Ariane and I were trying to figure out how do we stream to all this platforms, and we used Google, right? If you're telling me that you want to be a lawyer, right? And you're telling me, well, I applied to this law firm and I didn't get through, or you want to apply to Bank of Antigua, or you want to apply to the Royalton Hotel, but you're not getting through. Well, what else are you doing? What about YouTube University? Are you preparing yourself? If you want to be a hairstylist, are you online at least once a week, minimum? Looking at new hairstyles? Are you looking at hair products? What are you doing to prepare? Many times people are not doing anything else. It's just like, oh, this is what I want. It doesn't work like that. There's some work required. It's not, life is not magic, right? So you have to prepare. So what are you passionate about? Whatever you're passionate about, go pursue that. Whenever I interview people, I always ask them, what do you like to do? I want them, because what I'm listening for is something that they're passionate. If it's not obvious, I want the conversation to continue so I can extract from that and pair it with a job that we already have, right? So what are you passionate about? You have to know what it is, and you have to be doing something in the meantime. Okay, staying in a state of readiness, perfecting your professional brand. Okay, what are you curious about? You know, I have these questions here because when I was when I look back and I think about when I was finished with school, I really didn't know what I like. Like when I was growing up, you know, everybody, you're either a doctor, a lawyer, you were working in a bank, you had this, you know, all these jobs that, but I didn't know what I like. I like to read. Right? If you had asked me that, I would be here sitting today sharing with you and being in HR, and I would tell you no way, no way, no way, no way. So what are you passionate about? What are you curious about? If you don't know, if you don't have that immediate answer, use these two questions to guide you to where you want to go. The next thing, what work have you done? What work have you done? Do not, and the Bible says this, do not despise the day of small beginnings. So if you were working as someone who packed groceries in in a supermarket, or even in a small shop, or even if you work part-time at a gas station, no experience is ever wasted. What work have you done? What have you done up until this point? Are you researching any companies? I indicated at the beginning of the live stream that a green flag is companies that invest not only in their people, but in the communities that surround them. So look for those companies in Antigua that, support the communities. And it's not about which companies donated to the football team or the netball team or whatever, but what else are they doing? Are they doing health screenings? Are they having trainings or webinars such as these? These are companies that love their people, right? So have you researched any of the companies? Many times I'm in interviews and I ask people, what do you know about where I work? And many times they're not able to tell me, right? People want to know, and that's a huge indication. You have to at least want to, right? Want to know about it's not about having a job. It's not just about having a job. So this is something that I want to share with you. Never go into an interview and just tell someone that why do you want to work here? Oh, I just want a job. Never do that. It shows like you don't have any drive, like there's nothing, that you're just here for the money. Maybe you're there for the money. Okay, fine. But what else? What else? That is why you have to know what you're passionate about. You have to know what you're curious about. You can answer that question like, okay, I have some goals and I want to accomplish them. And I feel like this company would help me to get to that goal, right? That's a great answer. Let's move on. Have you thought about unpaid apprenticeship? So this is an idea. Instead of just sitting down home, your mother or your father or your caregiver is in your ear every day asking you if you're not going to look a job. Have you thought about going to a business place and saying, listen, I need to have some work experience. I am willing to do X, Y, and Z for a reference, for a written reference. Do you know how powerful that is? Do you know how that person will listen? They will not take advantage of you. They would be like, yes, you're the type of employee that I need to have. They will pour so much into you. So I encourage you to think about that. While you're in this period of transition, think about an unpaid apprenticeship. And even if you are not at this juncture, wherever you want to be or go in life, maybe you can't get the job, but can you get close enough to that person or to that organization that in exchange for whatever service, they can give you a reference? They can give you a reference, because I can tell you sometimes when you have references, many times when you have references, and you call that reference, at least for me, I call that reference and that person says, Waveney, this person is excellent. I don't even want to hear anything else, because I trust that person who is the reference. The person who is a reference, I trust them. I know them. I know that they're not going to tell me anything wrong. So think about this unpaid apprenticeship. Have you thought about volunteering? Same thing. Have you thought about going out there and volunteering? Is there a charity that you can volunteer? Well, Carnival is over. So you can't volunteer, no, but what other organizations can you volunteer What about your local church? Are they doing something that you can volunteer? What about maybe the government needs people? I know sometimes they need people to do sensor, right? Or they need help with whatever. Can you do that? Can you volunteer? This is something that you can do that when you go into a job, you may not have had prior experience, but in a real job, but these count because it shows you're not lazy. Two, it shows you're ambitious. Three, it shows that you think outside the box, especially the unpaid apprenticeship. So think about it. Do you have a resume prepared? You cannot, you cannot sit and wait for a job to call you and say, hey, they need your resume to then, you know, to have one. You can't wait until you see the job that you want, I should say, and then prepare a resume. This is something that you need to work on. This is another goal that you need to have when you get off this webinar. Simple resume, right? Have it prepared for the moment. Remember, you have to stay in a state of readiness. What does a successful school leaver look like? Well, they look like someone who knows what they're passionate about. And if they don't know, they ask themselves that question. They know what they're curious about. They are positioning themselves. They're already thinking ahead. They're going out there asking people to, they're exchanging their service. They're giving service in exchange for a reference. This is what a successful school leaver does. They position themselves, they prepare themselves, they work on their perception, and they prepare themselves. They stay in a state of readiness. All right. And lastly, have you prepped for the interview? Are you practicing? Are you practicing with your siblings, or do you have a neighbor who you can practice with? What are you doing? Are you on YouTube? You know, this is how you should be using social media, okay? Are you using TikTok or whatever? And prepping for an interview, looking and doing the research on what questions that may be asked. If someone asks you, why do you want to work there? Or tell me about yourself, what are you going to say? How have you prepped for, are you prepping for the interview that is going to come? Because you will get a job. You have to stay in a state of readiness. All right. So we are at our Q&A. Position, perception, preparation. Ariane, do we have any questions?
No questions on the board, but I'll give them a chance to put any questions that anyone may have. In the meantime, I would like to reinforce the point about social media. I'm an advocate for social media, and I see that social media has so much good in it and so much potential in it, but it can also be very detrimental to somebody's personal brand. You have to be intentional about what you're using your social media time to do. Waveney gave some very good examples. YouTube University, people don't consider YouTube social media, but it is. And there are so many videos on YouTube for anything you can think about,
It's a
including
search engine. It's a search engine.
including interview prep.
Right.
Two questions that Waveney just kind of mentioned there. Tell me about yourself and why do you want to work here? Those are two questions that you will get guaranteed in an interview for any job. The other thing about social media is there are people on there are good people on there who are sharing valuable information. And you have to find these people, follow their page, and pick information that can help to build you as a person. You don't have to follow somebody blindly. We're in a world now where maybe My generation followed a lot of people blindly, and now there's all these scandals coming out. So you can't follow people blindly. You have to take, you know, pieces from different individuals and put that into your personal brand. And finally, LinkedIn is a very underused social media
Yes.
tool.
Yeah.
There's a different conversation going on in LinkedIn. I highly recommend each of you start a LinkedIn account if you don't have one. Set up your profile. It'll take you a half an hour tops. Get a professional picture done. You don't have to go to a photo studio and spend a set of money to do that. We have technology, we have our cell phones. You can go on YouTube and see how to set up the lighting, put something on that looks professional, and
Create an
put
account.
yourself out there. You'll be surprised how many employers may reach out to you by just having a LinkedIn profile.
Ariane, I want to share something. So I'm a big fan. I have a story. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. I've been on LinkedIn since I think it's since 2006. I did a training uh at my 9 to 5 the other day. And sometimes we feel like um, you know, these these companies, like companies are so far removed. But I actually got a job from LinkedIn. I had a headhunter reached out to me. I was working at the Marriott at the time, and this headhunter reached out to me, and she was recruiting for a company in St. Kitts. And I didn't know the company's name is a different name, right? And I was like, wow, I didn't even know it was an American company, right? And she reached out to me 1 year. I said no, because I wasn't ready to leave hospitality at that time. And then she came back the following year, and I was like, by then I wanted to leave. And I left, and I got more money. That's the thing. They paid me more money than where I was. But, eventually I love hospitality. I went back into hospitality, but I share that story so you guys know that, LinkedIn, like Ariane said, is very powerful. And more people and more companies, they're on there now. And you don't even know that perhaps companies don't wait. We're talking about readiness, right? Companies don't wait until the company's door is open. Like next week is the opening to recruit. They're recruiting key positions, and they're already looking months, even a year or so out. So having a LinkedIn profile, um, is a great thing to have. And you can do so many things there are great articles there, you can learn so much. So that is definitely something I agree with you, Ariane, that
Absolutely. And you can connect directly with people in the field that you
exactly.
want to be in. Waveney, I have two questions on the board. Number one, I've applied to numerous job openings, but rarely receive responses.
Mm-hmm.
Most positions require experience, yet I can't gain experience without first securing a job. When I
Mm-hmm.
ask others how they obtain their positions, they often cite connections through family or friends. How can
Mm-hmm.
someone with the necessary qualifications break into the job market without such connections? Excellent question. Thank you for that.
Yes, okay, so that happens. That happens. And I will tell you, as someone who does recruiting as well, sometimes there are some positions that you require that experience. Okay. What you can do is what I've said. Um, can you do an unpaid apprenticeship? Something that help as well is perhaps going down to that company and asking a question, or calling the HR department up, or whoever is in charge, ask for an appointment. being bold and courageous. People like that. We're not in the age anymore when I was growing up where people that's like, oh, what are you doing? You think that you're enough? Keep a child's like you're not in that era. So I would set my sights on a particular company. I would do some research. I would call or go down there and said, hey, I'd like to have a word with you. I really like your company. I've done this research. Do you have any positions coming up or that I can assist with, right? Be bold and I would say be courageous. But you just have to keep on trying. I am not going to just tell you, just keep on sending applications, go down there, do something physical, ask questions, call. And I think that will help. Think about the unpaid apprenticeship. Is there somewhere else that you could work that will get you that experience? Is there something else that you can do? But be bold and be courageous because sometimes it may not be that particular position, but because you have that spirit and that energy, and people like that bravery and courageousness, they'll say, you know what, let me get back to you. But at least try. Just don't sit down and get disappointed. I know that it's tough, but don't sit and get disappointed.
I'd like to ask that person to
Mhm.
email a resume. I'm gonna put in the chat. Just famous school levers underscore, whoop, not levers underscore webinar at gicantigua.com. You can send your resume there. I'll have a look at it and maybe there are some pointers that I can
Yeah,
provide.
yeah,
And also I would share it with the human resource personnel at General Insurance Company to see if you fit our needs.
yeah.
And in addition, uh, through networking, sometimes other companies they call and ask, do you have anybody, you know of
They
anybody
do. They do.
with these qualifications? So please send your resume to that email and I will personally have a look at it and make some suggestions and pass it on as far as I can. And I commend you for coming to this webinar today
Yeah,
in trying to seek information. And I'm confident that you will be successful soon, that that time will be very, very close.
yeah.
So hopefully that answers the question. I'm going to move on to the next question.
I have one more thing to suggest. I
Sure.
was
Yep.
thinking, the person mentioned connection to friends and family. I would say to you, is there a organization you can join? I know in St. Kitts there's a Rotary Club. There are two of them, I think. Is there one in Antigua? Maybe you can reach out to that person because the Rotary clubs are filled with business people. And maybe you can reach out and say, they have drives, especially around Christmas time. They're always giving hampers and this and that. They may need someone to pack those hampers. But
Yeah,
guess what? It's not about packing the hampers. It's about getting close enough to those business people. It's
correct.
having that bravery, right?
Correct.
So think about that as well.
That pays so much dividends. I have a friend in the States. She's a personal finance banker.
Mm-hmm.
And she handles accounts between 2 million US up to 25 million US dollars. So these are pretty affluent people. And guess what she does? She goes to these business conferences, she goes to these volunteer opportunities to do what? Rub shoulders. And you'll be surprised the type of people that she rubs shoulders with. The mayor, the governor, the CEO, people who can actually make things happen for you. So that's
Yeah.
a very good suggestion, Waveney.
Thank you.
So next question is, besides appropriate attire, diction, and confidence, what other strategies can help make a genuine impression on the interviewer? Can you share any specific tips to increase the chances of securing the job?
I would say do your research. I am always, and every interviewer is different, but I would say do your research. People don't do research. And when you walk in there, if you do enough, and I'm not just talking about regurgitating that the company was founded in 1952 and the name was Solomon Grundy and blah, blah, blah. Talk about, okay, maybe you want to just read to see, okay, what is the mission of the company, right? What have they done? Are they taking any action in the communities? What are they doing? Do you know anybody who works there, right? What can you find out about them? What about how they promote people? Do they have someone? Ariane, I'm bigging you up again because I'm so proud. Do they have a first in the company, right? Do they have that? Have they done something? Have they made a donation to the hospital that really resonated with you? These are the things that you want to talk. Don't just regurgitate. Talk about what they're doing. That those little things that people would be like, wow, you're really paying attention, right? Though that is something that you can walk into, that is something that you could prepare for. You can also maybe the job or the services that they offer. How can you tie that into what you're passionate about? Maybe you're passionate about, I don't know, can't think of an example right now, but maybe it's something that you are passionate about and they provide that service and you can tie that into where you want to get to. That is something because an interview is a conversation. Yes, you're in a formal setting. Yes, you're presenting your best self, but it is a conversation. It is a conversation. You're going into that interview as well. And this is key. Many of us going into an interview because we have that energy, we want the job. But also go in asking, because do you really want to work in that place? That is where you can't just want a job. Okay, because if it's a toxic work environment, if they don't treat their people well, this is the HI in me coming out. If they don't treat people well, if they're not promoting their staff, do you really want to work? Do you want that pressure? You've just for money, you're not gonna want that pressure. People think money is everything. It is not everything. I am telling you, it is not everything. So go into the interview as well, not just I want this job, but saying, okay, tell me more about your company. Okay, tell me, and many times I've had this done to me. uh I will say something, and because the person already have a script with their answers, they ask me back the same question. That is annoying. An interview is a conversation, but tie it to what you're curious about, tie it to your passion, link it to some research. Are they doing first or something? Have they done a really charitable donation? What are they doing in the community? Maybe, something along those lines. Did I answer that question? Does that help to that person?
I hope so. I don't see any more
You
questions.
want to be memorable, okay? You want to be memorable. You want to be memorable. I'm going to be very transparent with you. Sometimes you're doing interviews and it's about who is the best fit. At least in I try to do that. It's about who is the best fit for the job, right? But there's some candidates that I interview that I'm like, I really want to help them. They're really good. And even if they don't get a job in the moment, I remember down the line, okay, this person, you want to be memorable. You want to be memorable.
I'll leave some time for some follow-up questions. You could probably go for another 5 minutes because I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
And I am going to,
Fight that they have made being here this evening to
yeah.
promote their own personal brand. Um,
And I've shared in the chat the free gift that I put together. It's an interview prep. Um, it's an interview prep list. It's one that I share. It's a step-by-step that will help you when you go for interviews, what to think about, how to prepare yourself. So I've put that in the chat. If anybody is listening on, people are listening on Facebook or YouTube, and obviously we're not that I'm not that tech savvy, right? So, and you want that guide, just send a message to either Ariane or myself, and we will share that link with you.
okay, I don't see any follow-up questions, so I will go ahead and close this evening out. I'll go first, Waveney, and then you can go last. How's that? That's okay?
It's on you. It's you.
Yeah.
It's on
Okay.
you.
I was very short. Thank you to the attendees who took the time out of their Sunday evening to help to improve their personal brand. Even if we can help one person from this webinar, we would have succeeded. The webinar will be available on Waveney's platforms, YouTube and her Facebook. Instagram, not so much because of the format.
We have
Yeah.
to figure that.
So you could feel free to share the replay with your friends and your colleagues. My thanks comes on behalf of the company, General Insurance Company Limited. And we'd also like to thank Waveney for partnering with us. The networking knows no boundaries. And this is why we have somebody in another country doing this presentation because of networking. I've met Waveney through mutual friends, and now we just kind of click on a level. And even though we're in similar industries and do totally different jobs, we come together to try to do things to help people. So with that said, thank you all, and I'll hand it over to Waveney.
Thank you, Ariane. And Ariane is so right. She's just one of people that you meet that she will pop up every now and again in my WhatsApp and was like, hey, have checked this out. I really like that. She reminds me about myself. um she reminds me of myself because I do that to friends of mine. She'll say, check this out, check that out, or this is a great idea. And I really love that about Ariane. It was an absolute pleasure working with her back then when as a coach, and it's an absolute pleasure working with her now. And it was really a pleasure sharing with you today about tips and how to perfect your professional brand. I do hope that something I've said resonated with you, something I've said take root within you. Take it from someone who um as people would say, you don't have a godfather anyway. I didn't have a godfather. I didn't have anyone to speak on my behalf. And yet here I am. The jobs that I've gotten them by the grace of God and on my own, and by pushing and not giving up. And I want to say to you, I want to encourage everybody who's listening that, I didn't have the opportunity. Education is important. I love it, but I didn't have the opportunity to go to university. I would have loved that. I've done other things. I've educated myself, but at the time I didn't have that, right? So don't listen to this and think that, well, she's a coach, she's a director, she's in HR, she's, you know, I I can't forget where I came from. So when I tell you and I share with you the tips, it's not something I'm making up. These are things and these are tools that I have used to get ahead in my life. And so I hope that something I've said really resonated with you, really stuck with you. And thank you for your time and thank you for allowing me, Ariane, and the team at General Insurance the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right. And with that, thank you all. And we hope
Bye.
to see you again soon in some other presentation, similar presentation.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.